Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm so happy to see you. Oshapo, Vazi.
I'm I was actually with I was with Marcus yesterday.
Yes, that's so nice.
So hello everybody. I am Olwethu Simelane and I play the character of Vazi in Choice Assorted.
Yes, Vazi. Yes. Can you please just tell us about your character, Vazi?
Vazi is an interesting oak, like he's an interesting guy. He's one of those Zulu guys who are very typical but also very laid back. He's finding himself. And so during the story, he's in a journey of finding himself and gets to explore. We see him be very messy, but he's very, I'd say he's very loving because he cares about the people that are close to him, that are his girlfriends, his friends, and he always tries to rectify his mistakes to actually show that he's not a spiteful person. Like he doesn't hurt people on purpose. Whenever it happens, it's just like, oops, a slip of the tongue or but I think he's a very genuine guy.
Oh, oh, so amazing to see Vazi being a genuine guy. So your character, when just sorted, goes through a lot of internal and external conflict, and is at the center of more or less everything that's going on in the story. And we normally don't see that kind of like journey portrayed on TV or on our screens. How was that process for you just playing that character?
Um, so yes, he has a lot of conflict with us. It's like it's like it's like he actively looks for trouble, but also I think it's very interesting how the script is written and how the director interpreted the script in the sense that um, through through the conflict that Uvazi experiences, both internal conflict and external conflict, he always tries to be a better person out of it. He always tries to address the conflict. He always like he would never leave the elephant, like he'd never let there be an elephant in the room. I wouldn't say he's confrontational, but he has ways of dealing with his conflict. So for me playing the character, it was very interesting and it was very tricky because I'm one person who finds it very hard to deal with conflict. So I think I learned a lot from Uvazi in the sense that there are ways of dealing with conflict without being too harsh or too confrontational in a sense. But yeah, I think that was my experience of trying to go through that whirlwind. But it was a turmoil because a lot goes on. And I'm sure when you guys actually get to see the piece, you'll see a lot goes on in Vazi's life.
That boy is that boy is problematic. You mentioned the script. My question is, what was your first impression when you read the script?
This was my first impression when I read the script. I was like, what? Like, what does obvious even mean? Like, where also with how the script ended, I was like, okay, whoa. Let's take it a few steps back. I tried to read it again. Because with me, I'd never been part of a piece like this. I'd never done screenwork prior to this. So reading the script was like, what? I wonder how they're going to do that. Because obviously, I come from a theater background. So I was already thinking, okay, how are we going to do that? Oh, he does that there? Oh, okay. So it was very, very interesting. And I think it was even more beautiful actually seeing all these moments coming to life because I was like, I wonder what they plan with how this is all going to unfold. But it was a very beautifully written script. I think I had many conversations with you about the script even,
Yeah.
where's it coming from? Because it's a story that we all know, but it's told in a very different way. And I think what assisted is that it's told from a queer lens, which is something that we really get when we get stories like this. So I think it's a very beautiful story, and I think you guys will really, really enjoy it.
Thank you. You mentioned like your background in theater. So if people don't know you, Olwethu is the boy he thinks he is. Olwethu Simelane is a multi-talented boy. And really with like drama or like performance, normally you know your way around things. How was like how did you even think it was gonna come up? Or like even the process because you guys shot out of order. Um was it confusing? How was it? Because you guys shot out of order, but the story went in a went in a certain way.
Um, so yes, as like you said, I'm a theater baby by at heart. But it was very, very difficult. And I don't want to lie to you. And I think I even had conversations with other cast members. Like I've already alluded earlier on, this was my first time doing screen work. So I was not, all I know is 2 months of rehearsals in the theater. You do your script from start to end, it's easy. But I think with me, what assisted me a lot was I had a notebook on set every time. So whenever I go to set, I prepared myself because at the end of the day, like obviously, like you already alluded to, we don't shoot in sequence in theater, like in screen. You shoot out of sequence. So if we're starting with scene, if we're doing scene 5, manje, next we're doing scene 3. What happens in scene 5, I mustn't show you when I'm shooting scene 3. I know what's happening in scene 5. The audience doesn't know what's happening in scene 5. So I think the hardest part for me was the character development, making sure that the character grows and I don't preempt the audience. Which, okay, this is what's going to happen in Vazi's life next. So that was the trickiest thing for me, is that I always had to go back to my notes, because whenever I'd leave for set, I'd write down my notes. It's okay, this is the state of mind Vazi's in. These are the mannerisms that Vazi does. This is what's happening here in this particular scene. And I'm sure you saw me in my small black notebook. But before every scene, I'd look over, okay, this is where we are. This is the state of mind that we're in right now. Okay, let's move. So when I come back for a next scene, I was just having to keep alive, because it's very tricky shooting out of sequence, because it's just like, okay, am I doing too much? I don't want to preempt the audience. So I think that's what made it easier for me, but it was very, very interesting. And also the 1 million takes that she take from all angles, it was interesting. It was a very interesting, which I learned.
Beautifully put, beautifully put. There are a lot of personal things that are not communicated between the characters, and there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. What would you say your characters struggle to communicate?
I think the one thing Vazi struggled to communicate without spilling too much is who he really is. I'll leave it there. I think
not
when
you,
you watch,
not
when you
you.
watch the show, you'll understand what I'm saying, and you'll come back here and be like, "Oh, that's what he meant." I think his throughout his trajectory, we see that he struggles with who he is, and that's a very interpreted that how you may.
I mean, wherever the wind blows. So the characters seem to be in like some sort of a bubble, especially your character. As much as they're going through like external and internal conflict, they tend to depend more on other people than themselves. Um, what do you think your character's biggest flaw was?
Ooh, what was Vazi's biggest flaw? I think his biggest flaw was how he treated other people when they wanted him to express himself a bit more. Because we see that he's that type of person, he doesn't want to be told what to do. He always wants to, for lack of a better word, he'd always want to be the alpha male in the situation. And he would treat people he even liked in a certain way whenever they push him to a corner or they want him to open up about certain things. So I'd say the way he treated people who were close to him or not close to him or associated with him, and you'll get it when you watch the story. The way he treated them, I don't think is the way that he even himself wanted to treat them. But that's why I'd say that's his biggest flaw.
So the story definitely looks at relationships, like you just mentioned, and how we navigate relationships and friendships. but it's just to contextualize it, it's a university kind of story, or university setting. So being a university student is full of awkward and weird moments. First question, what do you think is the biggest misconception about university students?
Is that we party every day, which is not a lie. You still, of course, you're still here to study. But I think that would be one of the biggest misconceptions, that we party every day. And I think with that, not every student parties. There are students who prefer going to the movies. There are students who prefer going to art galleries. So not all students are actually party animals.
Okay, nice. In which way was teenage Olwethu most like your character, Vazi? And in which ways are you guys different?
I think Vazi and I had a lot of similarities, but Vazi reminded me of my younger self. I'm not that old, by the way, guys. Disclaimer, I'm not that old. He reminded me of myself in the sense that I don't want to say too much. In the sense that the thing that he was going through were there were underlying problems to that. And until those problems were going to be solved, he was not going to go anywhere forward in his life. So I think that's where we differ, because he's still in a point where he's in a very tricky position while I've moved past that point. And I think our similarities, like I've already said, like we experience a lot of the same things. We experience a lot of similar things, from Bumi to Victor. So I've been in those type of situations, but I think our biggest difference is that where he is in his life right now, I'm way past him.
In which ways are you guys different? You said the similarities.
Yeah, Vazi's very problematic. I don't think I've ever been problematic. Well, not to that extent. And you guys will see when you actually watch the show how problematic Vazi is. And I think our style is very different, which is something that I really enjoyed exploring, because at first I was like, but then as I actually got into the character, I think it assisted me so much, because it was very easy to compartmentalize and separate. Okay, now this is Vazi, now this is Olwethu, and I'd ensure that in my wardrobe I'm not wearing similar clothes to what Vazi would wear. I'm not keeping Vazi, because I wanted the story to stay pure. Because one thing as actors that we do is that sometimes you overinvest yourself in a character, and after you're done shooting, you don't know who you are, because you are stuck in that character world. Tuso once said something very interesting when she was being interviewed for Underground Railroad. She was like, at the end of the day, we forget that our brains can't tell the difference. Okay, now this is Vazi. Oh, now this is Olwethu. Your brain thinks the same thing. So if you're gonna stay in the mood of Vazi and dress the same as Vazi and want to embody Vazi even in your home, it's very dangerous, because now when you're done shooting, your brain's still living as Vazi, but you are still Olwethu at the end of the day. And you need to be, I believe you need to be the best Olwethu you are in order to give Vazi his full respect and portray Vazi in the best way possible.
Nice. But not you articulating and selling yourself. So what was your biggest inspiration when you were preparing for this character? Or like your reference, or like the person you reference either on TV or ever, as a form of motivation when you're preparing for the character?
Well, the simple answer of it, I've already said, it was older me. But number two, it was Abafana Basekas. And I think when you watch the story, you'll understand exactly what I mean. That was my inspiration. Yeah, I don't want to. But that that inspiration for the character. I think that was a perfect depiction of trying to think, okay, this is what they do, this is what happens, this is, oh, they do, okay, sure, let me draw inspiration from that.
Yeah, because I think we've more or less experienced because being that kind of mfana is way different than being that mfana in university. And
yeah.
Trying to make those two personalities exist in one is like, okay, let's see. But you bagged your character. I don't want to lie. You beg your character. There are many reasons that you do that I find so annoying because I mean you do them constantly, but it's that thing of oh, punch this boy. He needs to wake
Oh,
up now.
mm-hmm. And I think also that was like the inspiration for me was using Abapamaseka as a reference, because I've like when I was in my grandmother's house, spent a lot of time at Kasi. And you understand that yes, you might be in university now, but you still who you are at the end of the day. And I think that's what Vazi is, even with him going through a lot, he explored that thing. Okay, no, I'm still but still I'm finding myself in this space where I'm supposed to be woke, I'm supposed to be liberal, and now all these things are happening in my life, and I'm just like, okay, how do I keep the balance? But in all of that, and all that happens, Uvad still keeps his true self of being a gassy guy, which is what I believe is constant throughout the piece.
Yes. So what was your favorite scene? Let's hear. It's okay. You can give it out. It's fine.
I don't like you much for this question. I really don't like you.
I mean, definitely after you answer this question, next time when I ask you this question, you will have a different answer because you haven't seen the series as a whole or like half of the series. You've only read it. So it's okay.
I think my favorite scene would be the scene with Victor. That scene. And I think what made it...
Which one exactly? Which one exactly? At Mpumi's place or... Wait, how many instances? At Mpumi's place or by the grass?
No, and Mpumi's place.
Okay, sure.
Because I think the chemistry that Victor and Vazi had in that moment was beautiful. And one thing that I think you did very well, props to you, and the director in casting, is that there was so much synergy amongst the characters that you casted. But in that particular scene, because I was very nervous going into the scene, like I was panicking, I was texting my mother, texting my sister, like, oh, this is what I'm doing on set today. And like everyone made it so comfortable, including my co-actor, that it was so authentic, and it came so naturally, and it was so beautiful. And I really hope it came out the way it felt.
Yeah, that's so nice. Which character could you have played, if not for Vazi, and why?
Ooh, I would have loved to play Victor, because Victor is completely outside of my radar, completely outside of my box. So I think Victor would push me way, way, way outside of my comfort zone. But I think he's such a dynamic character, so colorful. I think he brings color to the whole piece, because, as you say, there's so much conflict, and even though he experiences the conflicts as well, he always just tries to find the best out of everything. So I think I would have definitely wanted to play Victor. Beautiful character.
Actually, it's very funny that you're saying this now, because the casting process was hard. Trust me, you guys did not make it easy for us. I remember after you guys sent through your videos, and we had like one-on-ones, and we gave you like a few pieces to read. I eventually had to sit down, myself, the director, and Garabo, continuity. We had to sit down and really decide who's gonna play what role, because we had shortlisted, I think, 2 people per role. And then eventually I had to sit down and say, you know what, I now need to decide. And I was like, I definitely saw you play Vazi. Yeah, because I was like, yo, yo, guys, these things come in variants, and trust me, when I saw, even for the casting, it wasn't just for like now, it was also for the future, because then I looked at how you playing that character can allow yourself to develop with this character next time. Yeah. Especially
It was,
Marcus.
I loved it. I loved Vazi. And we had a love-hate because he was very problematic, but I think it was a character that Vazi also challenged me in a way that I had to tap into, like, we'd have these conversations with you, like tap into things that I've experienced, also things that I've never experienced myself. And I think that's the beauty of being an actor, is that you get to tell other people's stories. And like I always said earlier on, like, you are the vessel. So you use your own experiences, use the experiences of the people around you. You ask everybody, because that's how you get to tell a story authentically.
Yeah, you had the biggest responsibility. I mean, playing a
And
lead that develops your arc developed so well. And I mean, your responsibility, not shooting in order, just reading the script and not trying to be stereotypical. It's just like mind blowing, and you did it so well. My question is, what was most exciting about playing a character?
man, I think this leads to a question you asked earlier on. I think what was exciting about playing Vazi was the arc, like seeing the way his character grows and how the story ends. I'm just like, obvious, you can't do this to us. You can't just end it. Yeah, just when we thinking, we would see things are getting real, when I just end this. And I think it's such a beautiful trajectory that he goes through. And I think, man, the people that he encounters, and with me, the most exciting thing, what I was very honored, we had a very beautiful cast, we had a very beautiful crew, was actually getting to experience like the different actors, the bromance that Vazi has with Utsepo Notabo, very beautiful. Synergy there was amazing. So I think with me, getting to work with different people was like the most exciting thing for me. And actually getting, like, I know it's Steph and I, the BC that we do, and we'd hype each other up. And it was just so beautiful.